I was impressed by what Dak Prescott did yesterday. I mean, it's clearly taken a step forward in his fourth season. You can tell the maturation that's going on, the development in his overall game. He was decisive with his decision-making, recognizing the coverages and being able to get the football out of his hands. I was really impressed by that. I mean, he was the beneficiary of the Giants running a lot of split safety coverages, and then he was able to attack the deep middle of the field. They utilized play action with Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield, got Alec Ogletree and those Giants linebackers to bite up, and then you were able to make some completions down the field, in the middle of the field. Michael Gallup, Blake Jarwin with the touchdown. So, I mean, a lot of the things that you saw that Cowboys offense doing yesterday, I mean, the result of it was because you had number 21 in the backfield, but the execution for Dak Prescott was off the charts. I mean, on third downs and in the red zone, he was outstanding, and that's where quarterbacks typically make their money. Dak Prescott yesterday was 5 of 7 on third down passing, 122 yards and a touchdown, and then, of course, his team was perfect in the red area. So,
which was their biggest issue last year.
That was their biggest issue. They were 29th in red zone efficiency last year. They were perfect yesterday. So you see that the quarterback has developed, and they've cleaned up some of the overall issues that they had on the offensive side of the ball from a year ago. But a lot of that has to do with Dak Prescott being able to take his game to another level.
This was the best game Dak Prescott has played since the playoff game against Green Bay his rookie season, where even though they lost, I thought he was spectacular, especially for a player in his first ever playoff game, going toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers, bringing his team back only to lose on a field goal at the very end. Dak did everything that I have questioned his ability to do. He was precise. He was on time. He was looking, not even necessarily going to his second read. He was doing that as well. But there were times where he knew what his read was, but he was looking as if there was a different read just to move the safety over, and then he was delivering strikes. If Dak plays like this, the Cowboys can go to the Super Bowl. Now, I don't know if Dak can play like this more than 2 or 3 times a season, but I wouldn't have expected him, even against the Giants, to play like this one time. And so it was statistically a game that only has happened 4 times in NFL history. That many yards, that many touchdowns, and a perfect passer rating. And we can't go without mentioning Kellen Moore. His first game as an offensive coordinator, he dialed up play after play that took advantage of what the Giants were allowing. You guys mentioned the split safeties. Just real quick, if I may ask you this, the way Troy was talking about it on TV, it was as if, well, why would you ever play split safeties? Like, obviously, it's right down the middle. There has to be a way to defend what Dak was doing, but the Giants couldn't adjust to it. The Giants couldn't make the adjustments to what Dak and the Cowboys offense were doing, and it led to the Cowboys offense, to me, making almost no mistakes.
Yeah, Canty was right. The Giants thought that they could take Dallas or negate their running game by playing cover 2. The minimum amount of people in the box. Zeke is not up to speed. No need for us to pack the box. That's how we're going to – and throwing against 5, 6 defenders in the secondary, typically young quarterbacks, it's going to give them more problems compared to, I'm getting ready to go out there, blitz them man-to-man. They make the reads easier. So that was the reason why. That cover 2. But that play action, linebackers, they can't play the middle of the field and get sucked up on the run with the run responsibility. So not only Kellen Moore, the play calling, but some of the window dressing, some of the pre-snap stuff, where, for instance, if they were going to line up in a bunch formation, last year they would line up in a bunch formation, bunch right, toss right. This year what they did was they lined the wide receiver up outside, bring him in motion, and they might start Zeke in the slot, bring him in motion first. So the different things that they set their players in to be able to identify where the defense was, are they playing man and zone, they gave Dak a little indicator and give him a little head start on where the ball's going to go. But the reason why I like what he did was because I think it's duplicatable. Reading defenses clearly, looking off safeties, those are things you can duplicate week in and week out. Anticipation. Young quarterbacks don't want to let the ball go into areas. You could see him doing that. And the number one thing that I thought was the most promising was he was driving the football down the field. And you don't see that unless guys got confidence. You could see him load up on his back leg, stride into it, and where the ball was hitting people. It wasn't down by their shoelaces. He was hitting people either in their numbers or up in their face mask. And that's what I like to be able to judge quarterbacks and on their accuracy. Can a guy catch it and do something with it? That was a big difference from the Dak I've seen in the first 3 years.
No, CeCe, you're right with all of those points. Another thing that I thought was encouraging was to see Dak Prescott use his legs to be able to extend plays or to be able to scramble
just to keep you honest,
to pick up first downs. I mean, when the defense had everything, out there executed to a T, Dak Prescott was the X factor. He was able to be that guy that defenses can't account for. There is no defense for a quarterback run. You just don't have it. The defense doesn't have enough numbers. And so Dak Prescott, you saw him early in that game show enough in the run game, being able to get first downs where you keep the defense honest, and now you keep the offense continuing to move the chains and get more opportunities. So I was impressed overall with what Dak was able to do. I was also impressed with Michael Gallup, the young receiver from the Dallas Cowboys, being able to develop, 158 yards receiving yesterday?
Yes. 7 catches on 7 targets, too.
It was unbelievable just seeing what he was able to do, catching the ball in traffic. Amari Cooper, I know he went over 100 yards receiving, but he also had a heck of a crack block on that run for a touchdown for Ezekiel Elliott.
Yes.
On Jabril Peppers, the giant strong safety. So when you have everybody buying in and everybody sacrificing for one another, that puts that team in a really good spot. And, I mean, I think the quarterback is a part of setting the tone for the team in terms of being able to do those little things that lead to winning.
One thing Colin Cowherd talks about is Dak might not be one of the best throwers, but you give him 30 or 40 million just because he's an adult voice in the room, he's a good leader, he's going to do all and say all the right things. Imagine playing a football game with over 100 million in guarantees that you've turned down and going out there, guys getting hurt. Like, they played in the late game. Those guys got hurt in that first game. So how do you remain calm when I haven't signed this deal? I know it's on the table. I know it's over 100 million in guarantees. To me, that says something about Dak Prescott, that the money's not going to change him, and to have that type of composure, I thought we should mention that.
Now imagine taking a team that you saw yesterday with the way Dak was running the offense and adding 100% of Ezekiel Elliott to it, and you have to imagine this could be a Super Bowl team.
Well, listen, what we had on the bottom of the screen a second ago was, if Dak plays like this, is this team on the fast track to the Super Bowl? The answer would be yes. If Dak plays like this, if Dak plays like one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in the whole league, then absolutely yes. And I think your point of playing without fear, despite knowing that that was the biggest gamble Dak's taken his entire life, was taking the field yesterday before signing that contract, even if they are at the finish line, as Jerry put it. I think that's a great point, one I hadn't considered. And so, no, I mean, now, is it duplicable? Can he do it again? We'll see. But that was as good of a start for the Cowboys as you can possibly have for the season.
All right, we got to take a break. Chris, Canty, stick around. Coming up, will AB... Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.